Hello. In the last video we looked at the ideas of subject and object. In this video we'll look at how those ideas relate to Pali. Let's look at a simple example. The boy questions the monk. We can see our two nouns, the boy and the monk, at different sides of the sentence. The boy is the subject, doing the questioning, and the monk is the object, receiving the questioning. In English, the subject and the object are defined simply by word order. For instance, if we reverse the sentence, it is now the monk who is the subject questioning the boy, the object. In English, there's no way of telling from looking at the noun itself whether it's playing the role of subject or object. Well, that's not quite true. There's one exception, and that's pronouns in English. If we replace the boy and the monk with their pronouns, he questions him, and then again reverse the sentence, now it doesn't make sense. This is because the pronouns change their form depending on what role they play, subject or object. When we say form, we just mean their spelling. Pali is an inflected language. What this means is that, like pronouns in English, words in Pali change their form depending on the role that they're playing in the sentence. But in Pali, as well as the pronouns, most nouns and adjectives too change their form to indicate the role that they're playing in the sentence. And as you can see, the endings of the words can change to indicate their function. So, let us look at our sentence. The monk questions the boy, but in Pali. Samano darakang puchati. And I must apologise if my pronunciation is incorrect. I am no expert. Now if we translate this literally into English, we have the monk, the boy, questions. But the sentence gives us much more information. For instance, we can see that samano ends in o, which is the nominative case. And in Pali, the subject of the verb is expressed by the nominative case. Darakang, the boy, ends in ang, which is the accusative case. And in Pali, this indicates the direct object. So we know that it is the monk who is questioning the boy. And it doesn't matter how we arrange the words, the cases will always indicate which is the subject and which is the object. So what if we want to change our sentence around? Darako samanang puchati. If we translate this literally, we still have the boy, the monk, questions. But notice how darako now ends in o, taking the nominative, and samanang now ends in ang, taking the accusative. So we now know the boy is the subject, and the monk is the object. So it is the boy who is questioning the monk. Notice also the word order, the subject, the object, and the verb. That is very typical of a Pali sentence. Though, as we've seen, the words can be reversed without any change of meaning. Now let's look at another type of sentence. Darako siso hoti. If we translate this literally, the boy, a student, is, we can see this is a linking or equational sentence. And since is acts just like an equal sign, both sides of the sentence are in nominative case. What's more, in Pali, sometimes the is dropped completely, just leaving the two nouns in nominative case together, but still with the same equational meaning. Okay, so what have we learnt in this video? Well, Pali is an inflected language, which means the endings of the words change depending on their role in the sentence. This is why case is very important when translating Pali. We've seen the nominative case indicates the subject of the verb, whilst the accusative case indicates the object. Finally, word order in Pali generally runs subject, object, verb, which is different from English, which generally runs subject, verb, object. There are more cases than just the nominative and accusative, and these will be covered in a different video.